Kurtis with Cash, the Empire.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
And welcome back. Episode 7 of World Soccer Daily, an Arc Soccer Collective original. I'm your host, as always, Kurtis. We're here with another great episode. I have my great friend Wendell here and a special guest this episode, Dupe. How you doing, man?
I'm solid. How you doing, boss?
I'm a little jealous right now because here's my thing. I've been trying to grow this beard for like almost a year now, right? And it's already hard enough doing this podcast with Wendell, but now it's like, all right, I got two people just outdoing me. I might have to hit Turkey up real quick. Turkey A, not Turkey A, and get some enhancements because I can't deal with this. This is my show. I gotta have the best beard.
It's a barber shop around the corner. I promise you, get you right.
Have them spray something in there for me.
Yeah,
Fill it in a little bit. Give me the LeBron.
you know.
But we got a great show for you guys. We're going to talk about We're going to talk about one EPL game, Manchester United Bournemouth. A couple of things that hit on there. We're going to talk about some contracts happening in the NWSL, and then we're going to talk about the U.S. soccer pyramid. We got a great conversation for you guys on that portion. But first, let's start with Manchester United versus AFC Bournemouth. A 4-4 draw. Not a good look for Manchester United per usual. A couple takeaways from the game. My biggest alarming moment was, of course, the U.S. men's national team is always on my head. Tyler Adams coming out so early in the game. I think it was a minor injury, but I think he'll be fine. Other than that, what did you guys think of this game? Because I really don't know what to make of Manchester United at this point. AFC Bournemouth's a great team now. Don't get me wrong, but they're not good enough to be beating you right now. What do you think, Wendell?
Well, I'm gonna be honest. I didn't know that Man U could score this many goals over in a game that wasn't, over like a 10-week stretch.
Yeah.
So that says one thing about their attack is firing, clearly.
Mm-hmm.
But now their defense needs to kind of step it up a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. It was a very weird game though, because like I was texting in the group chat during it a little bit. And it was just kind of like every second of it is like it just felt doomed for me. Like United is just like anytime they fight back and come back and take over the game, it's just like I still don't believe you. I still don't believe in this team anymore. It's like where does this team go from here? Like what do you do? Dupe?
Yeah, I mean, they have a good team. I think what's happening is that it's not the United of old, and I think we all just have to recognize that. I think that's the biggest reality that we're all trying to wrap our heads around is the old United would come back and give you this 2-goal win out of nowhere. And it's, you know what I'm saying? It's this glory United, but that's just not where we are right now. That's just not this team. And this is a new, fresh start for a lot of players to get opportunity. Because if you look around, that whole entire team, I couldn't name one guy that has been there besides Bruno consistently.
Very true. But just to give you a little kickback on that, I feel like they have a lot of capable players at the same time, though. Like Cunha's amazing. I think. And Bomo and all these guys are amazing, and they're just not putting them together in the proper sense. Because in the grand scheme of things, like they're only sitting at 6 right now. They're not in like the worst. They're not in the worst shape. But it's like you could be better. You could be competing. And I don't know.
Comparison to who?
In comparison,
name the teams above them.
Okay, the teams above them are Arsenal, Man City, Aston Villa, Chelsea, Crystal Palace. They can get past these guys. They're Manchester United.
Those 5 teams haven't made the drastic adjustments that United have.
Very
in
true.
reality. Number 2, every player that you just named was a role player on their team. None of them were major key figures. As good as Cunha is, he wasn't doing that. Remember, even Vitinha came from a Wolves team that no one knew who the hell he was at one point. You know what I'm saying?
Very true.
So it's like we're putting role players on a platter to be criticized because they're playing for United. And individually, those guys would be role players at any of these other teams, if not subs. Cunha's a sub at Chelsea. He's not starting. I mean, look at Neves. He's at Chelsea, and he's kind of a surprise to see him come in and do what he's doing right now. And he's been in the Prem for some years right now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and Bournemouth, he's not a legit goal scorer. I mean, I watched the game where he missed 3 sitters.
He seems streaky, right? Because certain games I look at him and I'm like, okay, there might be something there that maybe Josh Xerxes didn't have. But then other games it's like, okay, it looks just like Josh Xerxes to me.
He looked even worse in some games. Legit. So it's like can we really expect them to be higher than 6th place when these other teams didn't make as many changes or have such a coaching criticism to happen?
So what do you think is the ultimate goal for them for the rest of this season at that point then?
I think for United, it is just to finish in the top 6, maybe top 5. I don't see it being anything greater than that because we didn't even have them finishing in the top 10 just in thought from last year. We thought Amaral was going to get fired at least by now.
Mm-hmm.
That was talked in September.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So what do you? And I want to hit on that too. But continue what you're saying.
I just think that the reality is this is a United team that they need another season or two. You change coaches so much, no one knows who it is. Then you went through the Paul Pogba fiasco.
Mm-hmm.
Then you went through another coaching change. Then you went through another system change. And now you're really, what we're pretty much looking at is this is a United team without United players. This is the first time in history. You don't have any real homegrown. Kobe Manu's the only homegrown, and he doesn't play. Hopefully he leaves in January. But if you look at everyone that has left,
so.
You're looking at a team of who? All new guys. Bruno is the only legit player that's been there from a time. And he's not a United homegrown.
Right. Yeah. I mean, you gotta give Bruno his credit. He does do what he can for this team, no matter what the situation is.
Absolutely.
But let's hit on Almiron for a second. I wanted to ask you guys, especially you, Wendell. Almiron at some points is like, okay, we got to sack this guy, and then other points the team gets on a little streak, and we're like, well, maybe we work it out a little bit and see how far he goes. Where do you think Where do you think it goes with Almiron at this point? Do you keep Almiron on the roster? Do you keep him throughout this season, maybe next season or two, to develop them similar to Arteta and see what can become of him as a coach, or do you go somewhere else with it? Because I'm at the point now where I believe it might be time for him to go. I understand sticking with coaches makes sense to like give him that like we were talking last week and weeks before with Arteta, but it's too much. It's too many highs and then very drastic lows. There's no in between with this team right now. It feels for me. So I don't know. What do you think, Wendell?
Look, he holding on to that job tighter than Mr. Krabs hold on to money, boy. I'll tell you. I ain't never seen somebody get threatened to get fired so many times and still keep their job, bro. It's crazy. But I think at this point, with them sitting 6th in the league in this December, I mean, you know the kind of team you got. Mm-hmm. I don't think they have any grounds to fire him, really. He's sitting top 6.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, like, why would you? Then you're going through another coaching change for them just to fall back to where they were before.
But I get it. I see where you're saying where they're 6, but we also have to keep in mind this is Manchester United. And I understand that in recent years we've understood that this team is not what they used to be, but the goal has to be getting back to what you were. So with that in mind, do you think that it's something that you have to have that mentality? It was like, oh no, you're not doing what we need you to do. See you later and go to the next guy? Or do you go ahead, Dupe?
No. I think the question becomes, is the Manchester United job desirable?
That's a good question. It's almost like the U.S. men's national team job.
I mean, I'll take it. I would take the U.S. men's national team job over taking United.
Over who?
I would take the U.S. men's national team job over taking United.
Really? Explain that.
United has so much history of winning and so many great players. For them to be in this position right now with a non-English coach, a pretty much non-English team, this is very good for them right now. Mm-hmm. If they make another coaching change, they'll set themselves back another 10 years. They have a grounds to work on right now. They, at least being 6, you have players that want to come there. Mm-hmm. It is the most talked about job of a team that's not in the top 4 of their league. Every year, Manchester United is expected to do something. The U.S. men's national team, you only expected to beat teams in the CONCACAF. That's doable for the most part. For the most part. Now, for the most part. Some years. Your player pool is, you have a lot to choose from. We're reaching out to different places, but the U.S. men's national team job is not as difficult, comes with as much scrutiny as Manchester United does.
True.
In my opinion.
Not yet.
I don't think put it this way, we put more controversy on a team, on the U.S. national team, to win something that we've never won.
Very true. But
That's
I
a good
mean,
point.
United has won on every level. So they
That's true.
have something to stand for. They have a trophy room. Our trophy room is only a Gold Cup.
couple Gold Cups, right?
I mean, but let's be real. Let's realistically
Yeah.
speak
Yeah.
of what have we won. We don't have a semifinal appearance. We don't have, you know what I'm saying?
I got
We
you.
don't have a top 3 player in the world or a top 10 player in the world. So that's completely different compared to what you can purchase with the clubs and you can represent the U.S. national team. We talk of it as if we have the technology as if we have, but we haven't produced that on the field.
Yeah, we
So
don't
could
have.
you
Yeah, go ahead,
Oh,
Wendell.
I was like, could you say that the job of United, it's harder to back a new coach, like as a front office, like they don't back him as they should. They just say, hey, you got what you got, now go out there and do something with it. Do you think
No,
they
I
really
think
like
they back the coaching because if you look at every coach that's come in, they've pretty much gotten a chance to pick certain players. I think it's a major culture shock right now because you don't have so many United homegrown players, United Academy players. So if you really look at, for example, McTominay came and left.
Mhm.
No one was expecting McTominay to come into Italian league and be Tom Cruise.
facts? Facts.
You know what I'm saying? Pogba is
Yeah.
now coming back, major transfer. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? Like, and we can go through maybe a couple more names and say, you know what, they're all having success somewhere. I mean, Anthony Kane left in the same year. Memphis Depay came, left.
Yeah.
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 So I mean, when you look at the caliber of players that have come and gone, that pressure of United is different because you're still getting compared to the Giggs, the Scholes, the Beckhams, the Rios, the Vidiches,
Yeah.
the Ezra, Carlos Tevez. Don't even get started on Wayne Rooney.
Yeah.
Right.
The different versions of Wayne Rooney at that point.
Right.
So when
Which-
you compare, that's too much of a comparison.
Yeah, it's unfair, but it's also a reality, right? So like you
True.
kind of gotta take the good with the bad a little bit.
It's like the Dallas to other sports. It's like the Dallas Cowboys and the Lakers job.
Very
Yeah.
true. Very
Yeah.
true. But let's switch gears to the AFC Bournemouth for a second then. There's currently sitting 13th in the EPL. I don't think that Tyler Adams needs to stay on this team at this point. I think we need to start thinking about him getting on, and maybe not even maybe the EPL isn't the future for him. But after this game, even though he didn't play much in this game, I just, every time I see a U.S. national team player on the field, I think, where can they go next? AFC Bournemouth at 13th in the league is not where he needs to be to develop himself as a better player. I get it, for some people it makes sense to be on a mid-table team, but I think Tyler Adams is one of our players that I think needs to be on the same level of Christian Pulisic and maybe I'm trying to think of somebody else on the team who are playing on Weston McKennie, who are playing on better teams who are more competitive. Do you guys think he's ready for that, or do you think he might need to stay here and try and develop with this team and enjoy the play time he gets for being on a mid-table team as opposed to going to a team that's probably slightly more competitive, and he learned more, but he probably won't get as much time on the field as he is at AFC Bournemouth?
You
You
go
want to
ahead,
go
dude.
first?
Go ahead. Yeah, you
Okay.
go.
Jinx, you owe me a soda.
No, I think for Tyler Adams, he's in a very unique place. I think him staying in the Prem is actually where he needs to be. I think Bournemouth is a really good place. I think when you really look at his position, where can he go? He might get transferred to a higher team, maybe in the Premier League, but he'll be a role player as a sub. With Bournemouth, he's going to get consistent 90 minutes, which at his level of being recovered from an injury is more important right now.
Okay.
And he has to prove himself now more than ever that, one, he can stay healthy, two, he can still impact the game. Because most teams, if you look at his style of play, he's a early 2000s, late 99 kind of guy.
Yeah.
He's like a Gattuso. Like, that player isn't around anymore.
It's not valued anymore is what it is the key.
Yeah. So it puts him in a very difficult spot because centrally, he might work better in Italy, but then again, that style of play doesn't necessarily fit all the time at every club. Then you keep him in the Premiership, he can have his impact on a mid-table team or come in for a high team as a sub and have that major impact. But it depends on the system that he's playing in. I think that part of it is the other piece. He could go to Germany, but as we all know, unless he's at a Dortmund or a Bayern or, Leverkusen somewhat,
Leverkusen.
or Werder Bremen or one of those up and coming. It's the
Mhm.
same thing. So him playing in the Premiership at the highest pace does benefit us, and I think that is exactly where he needs to be right now.
What do you think, Wendell?
Well, since that was exactly what I was gonna say, I'm gonna flip it. I'm gonna play devil's advocate for a second. Play devil's advocate.
Okay.
So I think that he should go somewhere else because to me it seems like he's always getting injured. So the physicality of the Prem is not beneficial to him because he's always out. So I think if he did go to somewhere like Italy where they play more finesse ball or somewhere in Spain like a low high tier Spanish team where they play more finesse ball, I think that would better suit his style than the physicality of the Prem.
Yeah, because I mean, for what it's worth, as long as he's been in the EPL, it doesn't seem like you see much. It feels like I haven't seen much of him, and that's because of his injuries.
Yeah, he's always hurt.
But
so then let me ask this question.
Okay, go ahead.
Do you think a position change would benefit him?
See, here's my thing. I feel like him and Weston McKennie. I thought about this a lot. I thought about this a lot. I have a whole dry erase board of like potential U.S. men's national team lineups.
He got a spider web.
The issue for me is always this: a lot of our best players would be best in the same position. I think him and Weston McKennie seems to have that. For me personally, I think they're both the best CDMs we got. You run them two next to each other, they'd be perfect. I just feel like there's just no real. If we put one somewhere, we have to move somebody else out of their position, is what it feels like to me every time with the U.S. national team. We don't have enough talent spread amongst the field. We have a lot of players in the same positions. You see what I'm saying?
I do, but I don't see Tyler Adams as a CDM.
You don't? What do you see him at? Winger?
No. He's far from a winger.
Yeah, that's where everybody wants to play now. So I just
no. Weston is an 8. He's a box-to-box player.
See, I don't like Weston playing box to box. And even in the last U.S. men's national team game, I complained about that. I was like, he's playing far too high. I think he needs to be back there playing CDM because that's where he's beneficial to us. Is right in front of your defensive line and right there bridging that gap between the defense and the midfield.
I think Tyler Adams is better at that spot.
Right, but Tyler Adams right now, with the way how his game is, to me, would suffice as an outside back or a center back role. He's a true leader. He knows how to time his challenges. His game is very simple in the Prem. If you bring him back to the center back position, just saying it, he could lead that with no problem. His vision of defense, of how to have everybody in line, is key. The only thing is in the middle of the park when he doesn't have the players around him, he can then be left having to chase and fight. And that style of play sometimes gets him hurt. And that's why at Bournemouth he does get, to me, more injuries because he's having to cover more ground because of people in front of him don't necessarily keep it as much as possible. So when you're having to chase the game in the Prem and your game is literally challenges, you're going to get hurt.
You're going to get hurt.
But if you drop him back to a center back role and take his height out of it just as a player, the man is smart enough to read the game. And for the U.S. national team, to me, if he goes to center back, that does give us a little bit more confidence back there. At least know that we have somebody who's smart enough to read and play out of things. But that also opens the midfield up for more players to come into it.
True. I never thought of it like that.
Because right now, our best players, we have 6 center midfielders.
Facts.
That are all young, black, and athletic.
Yeah.
And if you add Pulisic to that, I always say, like, well, where does he fit in that position? Because you then have to create a team around Pulisic to get the best out of him.
I'm not sure if building the team around Pulisic is
you have to
necessarily
find a formation that he has a position because he's not a striker.
Yeah.
He's not a true winger. And he's not a true tank. So you have to put the pieces around him for him to be as successful with the U.S. national team. What he does for club, he has those pieces around him, and that's how he gets to play the way he plays.
That's fair.
But for U.S. national team, it doesn't work like that because you have so many players that do the same thing. And they don't necessarily position him to have success that way.
Gotcha.
Yeah. He kind of plays as like a poor man's Messi, almost.
It's not even a poor man's Messi. It's more so just a free role with no defense behind him because everybody else is also doing the same thing. That's why I said
that's true.
It's very hard to not build a team around him if he is somewhat what we call our best player.
Gotcha. So let's switch gears for a second and let's talk the NWSL. Wendell, I want you to kind of lead the way on this one, but Sophia Smith just got a really big contract, and I want to first you can introduce the you can give us a little background on that contract situation, but I want you to also kind of give me what does this mean for Trinity Rodman with her getting her money?
Yeah. So Sophia Wilson, actually Sophia Wilson.
Get that right.
Wait, what did I say?
Yeah.
What did I say?
Sophia Smith.
Oh man, my bad.
Nah, you good. Yeah, she exercised the player option on her contract. So that player option was worth 1.1 mil. And I think it's obviously well deserved, first and foremost, but I think it's a good look for the NWSL because now you see them quote unquote getting paid like they should be.
Because the big talk was a lot of these girls were considering going over to overseas to the
Correct.
EPL like Germa did and so on and so forth. So
Correct.
do you think we have a valid chance of fighting that battle of keeping our players
No.
home based, or how do you think this works? Because for me, I'm just looking at it from the standard of the NWSL. For me, it's always been the league that's kind of been, or not just the NWSL, every version of the American Women's Soccer League has always been kind of persistent in trying to keep the talent home. And we do have among the world the best women's talent, not all of the best talent, but we have most of the talent. So it is beneficial to try and keep that talent home inside here and market it, make money off of it. But again, those clubs still have the club money from their men's teams and so on and so forth. So it is hard to compete with. So how do we combat that?
It's hard. It's hard because all American born women want to play in America. But if they don't think that they're getting paid like they should, they will move overseas. The flip side of that is like these are successful women, like they want to start families. So you can never ever leave that piece out because it's a fact, it's a reality. So with them, wanting to start families like they want to, it's hard to go overseas. You're more or less by yourself, minus a couple people. And all your whole family, everybody that you know and grew up with, is in America.
Speaking
So,
of which,
like, I
Sophia
feel like that
Wilson
kinda-
is, for the audience, Sophia Wilson is just had a baby.
Oh yeah, correct. She just had a baby. It plays for the Portland Thorns. I don't think we said that, but yeah, it's that's a reality that they have to more or less deal with. So it's possible to keep your talent here. You just have to pay them like they deserve, I think.
What do you think?
Or how they think they deserve. Because it brings back Trinity Rodman, right? So like she was also looking for this kind of money, also well deserved. But it's on the club to make to put the money out there for the player to want to have.
What do you think, Dupe?
I think it's a two-part. I think, one of the biggest things that the NWSL has to do, as well as any of the American League, USL Women's League as well, you have to market your players more. I think that's the biggest piece that women's soccer has kind of done a little bit better job of than MLS right now, is the marketing side.
Mm-hmm.
They make their players more visible, more touchable to me, more to interact with. And I think that's been a major help. With the marketing comes the branding side, and I think that's the other part that a lot of these teams have to do a better job of in order to keep their players to stay here. I think what we fail to realize is the leagues in Europe, they don't necessarily do a better job. They just have the resources and the money to pay them. But outside of that, everything else is still comparable to America. I mean, besides the weather,
Yeah.
But
Very
when you
true.
look at like Sophia Wilson, she's staying at Portland. That's a great thing for the league, yes. But now, what is the league going to do to grow her?
And
What
what
are
is-
they
and what-
going to do to brand her? And I mean, when you look at, for example, the Trinity Rodman side of it, I don't think she has the capability of going to Europe right now.
Trinity Rodman?
She's still injured.
True.
She's coming off an injury. She didn't finish the season. She came into the final match with a somewhat of a. We all thought she was going to come in and do something special.
Yeah, I agree.
Yep.
And that just didn't turn out the case. So for her to then jump to Europe, she would then still have a lot more expectation for a price tag, and if she's still hurt, that hurts her brand.
Yeah.
And if I'm her, I'm doing a very smart job right now of how I brand and market myself, knowing that I'm coming off of injury. And I'm also on the verge of possible reality. Like, you know what I'm saying? She's dating major tennis players.
Ben
So
Shelton,
like all
yeah.
those things can now either affect the marketing or the branding of the Trinity Rodman brand. I think it now puts other teams on the scope of saying, okay, how are we going to make our players look better? How are we going to put them in front of these major companies, major networks to sell? And that's where the players such as Sophia Wilson, such as, Trinity and them have to really stand up and do that for the forefront. Because Grandma leaving was a smart move for her personally.
Absolutely.
Secretary of Defense.
But she wasn't marketed in the U.S. market.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, we didn't brand her as on commercials. You didn't see her on L'Oreal. You didn't see her on anything.
And I'm glad you brought up branding because I want to touch on that for a second. I don't know if I see what you're saying with the branding. Like I agree with you. They're more visible than the men's players in the MLS. But do you think that's because of the NWSL? Do you think it's because the U.S. women's national team is just such a big thing globally that those girls get that residual marketing push from it for themselves as opposed to the league actually doing any kind of like legwork for that to happen for them? Because I feel like if it was and I feel like I'm with you on that, but I feel like if it was about promoting players in the NWSL, there are girls who are not necessarily stars on the U.S. national team platform, like Corey Bethune for the Washington Spirit, who you really don't see marketed as well because she's a dog. But you gotta
now see, I'll correct you there. Croy is marketed a lot. She's probably one of the more marketed players. Coming in off her rookie season, she was already doing commercials. She just got done doing the Nike advertisement with the Tiempos. She's on a lot of things in DC. So Croy was also on the Dead Dirt with Donald Wells. So she's on a lot.
I haven't seen it.
I have seen a lot.
when I see the marketing, I see women's national team players. I see Trinity Rodman all the time because of the Ben Shelton stuff. You see Sophia Wilson because she's also got a professional athlete boyfriend who plays for the Arizona Cardinals, or husband, I think. I think they're married at this point.
Yeah,
they're married. I'm sorry, I'm going to correct that. They have their brands and they're marketable. But it doesn't feel like it's NWSL marketing.
No, because what happens is this: women's sports in the full totality doesn't get the marketing that it always deserves. So
agreed.
It's always that secondary writing story. It's always that third piece. It's not the front headline unless it's something major.
True.
Which it's not their fault. It's just the way how ESPN covers it.
But to give a little credit and a little bit of pushback, they are starting to come around because I mean the WNBA is starting to get more marketed. You see more of that on ESPN. You see more.
But you see, it took for a lot of the female analysts to come out and literally lead that charge.
Yeah.
And for them to have that voice to say, no, you don't talk about women's basketball. No, you don't do this, which rightfully so, it is true.
That is true.
You can't have, and this is just me using that as an example. You can't have baseball catches being 5 out of top 10.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
If we have women's soccer going around, we have women's basketball going around, we have soccer alone all around the world. We have all these different sports, but yet if you really look at it, it is only marketed a certain way. And women's sports right now is the highest growing thing out there across all platforms. But the marketing and branding behind it is at the bare minimum. So as trajectory goes up, the marketing and branding has to follow, or else it gets to a certain point and then drops off.
But in reality, how far can they take it as the NWSL when we can all agree that no matter what happens, they're going to try and put the MLS in front of the NWSL in terms of marketing and camera time on a global scale for just a sports casual. I'm like let's think about it from a sports casual take. They're going to introduce the men's team game before they introduce the women's game. So how much of it is going to be them pushing it themselves and then waiting for the MLS to catch on? Because the MLS is so far behind them. Do they have to wait for them, or do they push ahead of the MLS and do it themselves?
They're already ahead. You know more women's soccer players from the NWSL than you do an MLS team.
That's a fact.
That's fair, but
So they're ahead.
Yeah. I don't think they should worry about the men's team at all.
Yeah.
Like, just do you. Like, stay in your lane, do your thing. whatever they do is on them. Whatever they do or don't do is on them. Like,
Right.
if you really want to grow your league, you got to be focused all about you.
I 100% agree with you guys. I'm not saying
Yeah.
I don't want to get clipped or anything crazy. I'm just saying from where I see it, from where I stand, it's always going to be legacy media is going to give priority to the men's division before they give it to the women's division. And I feel like in order for the women to grow, we have to. Unfortunately, the MLS has to grow with it, and it's not good. And it's just not going. It's not going at that pace. And the women's national team, I agree with you guys, is light years ahead of the men's national team. They've won more, they've completed more, they've done a lot more, and they deserve to be ahead of them, but they're just not.
I think they are ahead of them. I mean, when you really look at it on just in every shape and aspect, they are ahead, and they've proven that. I think the difficult part that they're facing is how to balance the league now with what's going on in Europe. Because this is the first time where an American league is leading the way in comparison to Europe leading the way, which is the reverse on the men's side.
Because they're giving out $1.1 million like it's candy or something.
But it really is. If you look at an NWSL contract of $1.1 million, and you look at a baseball, football, basketball,
Yeah, thanks.
Okay. So on the grand scale, I see you on that portion. In terms of the amount of the dollar amount, yes. But in terms of like revenue, from a revenue stance, I feel like $1 million is a lot for where the NWSL is at this current juncture. I was kind of leaning more towards like a max deal for an NWSL league would be in the $500,000 to maybe $750,000 instead of going out to giving $1 million contract, because that can bottom up your league. It's happened before in plenty of leagues, not just soccer, where you give out too much money early and you can't recoup that in your revenue, and you end up having to dissolve a league. So
think about it this way. And I don't mean to cut you. Think about it this way.
No, you're good. You're good.
If Trinity Rodman has a great season, Sophia Wilson has a great season, Corey Bethune will throw 2 more players in that mix. If 5 players have a great season next year, you know how much money they're gonna have to pay those players to stay in NWSL? So you make your money off of them leaving,
selling them to okay.
But they're gonna come back. They're gonna come back, but you want to sell them at their highest value. If not, keep them here and pay them that $2.2 million, $3.3 million, and let these women build the league off of their greatness. Don't minimize them because they're still here. Build off of their greatness, or let them go abroad, make that money, and come back home.
Yeah, hey, for the MLS, I've said it plenty of times on this podcast that I've always said we should follow the Brazilian way, I guess is what I call it, where these guys they start in the Brazilian league, go over to Europe, come back and finish, similar to what Neymar does.
But that money trickles down in Brazil, but it doesn't trickle down in America.
It doesn't trickle down in America.
Well, hey, that's another problem we have here.
Issues.
Yeah, you gotta leave soon. You don't want a 2-hour podcast today. Say that for the next time.
Yes.
All right, let's get to our last topic of the day. We're going to talk about this shakeup in the U.S. soccer pyramid. And Dupe, I wanted you to come on for this one because you're the one of us who's actually played college soccer. We weren't good enough, obviously.
I chose not to play. I chose not to play. I just want to put that out there.
Yeah, I chose not to play too because they didn't offer me anything. But I want you to explain what's happening with the soccer pyramid, the shakeup, and then I want to get into it and see and get you guys' opinions on it because I have a lot of thoughts on it. So go ahead.
I mean, right now it's all kind of just conversation, and putting college soccer on the period, to me, it just doesn't make sense.
It doesn't?
It doesn't. It does not. If the pyramid hasn't been balanced yet with at least finalizing USL and all the divisions and NWSL and PSL and UPSL and all these other leagues, they should be in front of college soccer, in my opinion. So college soccer shouldn't even be on the pyramid.
So here's my take on it. So with the soccer pyramid being such a sliding scale, the thing I like about them trying to add college soccer at the bottom of the pyramid and giving this like fluidity amongst the leagues is you're giving college soccer players a chance. You're giving people a chance to find that where they are in the pyramid and work their way up at a more complex rate. So I look at it as I look at what they're doing with this and I compare it similar to what the baseball structure is. Coming out of high school, if you're if you're good enough, you go straight into the minor. You get drafted by an MLB team. You get drafted by the MLB team, you go to their minor league division, you do what you got to do down there. You work your way up to the pros. If you don't like where you get drafted, you go play college ball, and then you go re-enter the draft, and then you try and see if you can get classified with a better team or whatever, and work out your contracts that way. My thing is, what they're trying to do with this whole shake up to the pyramid makes it seems like it's heading towards that direction, and it can work. And it gives the ability for resources to trickle down, like we were talking about, like we kind of just mentioned it with the U.S. national team, to college soccer. And you're putting the college soccer schedule on the regular soccer schedule that the MLS is trying to go into, and I think the NWSL at some point will eventually go to too. So there will be no more summer soccer in America. I think all of that in totality makes sense and will help to make for a better product. But why are you as the D1 soccer player against it?
Because what happens is this: if you're playing college soccer, what is a professional coach going to ask you? Why aren't you already at this level?
Why aren't you? I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
Why aren't you already at this level? Why aren't you already at an MLS Next team? Why aren't you already on a homegrown contract? Why aren't you already here?
People get overlooked. Here in the U.S., more than anywhere, people get overlooked.
I will say I agree with you. People do get overlooked, but that's what a professional coach is going to look at. And then they're going to say, if you're not a one and done or a 2 year and out, I don't have time to get you at 20 years old, 22 years old to bring you back in, because the way how U.S. soccer really is pushing the players, the younger, the better. They're no longer looking at the 22-year-old guy coming in. And the other part about it is college soccer is dominated by European players coming in right now. And the transfer portal, when you look at it, it is older players. It's not that many freshmen coming in and starting and playing. So, and that's just at the Division I level and even somewhat Division II. So when you really look at it, you're either trying to transfer to get somewhere. So if you transfer once, you're 19 years old, 18 years old, that means you didn't play. And everybody wants a full scholarship or full ride. So then what are you looking for as a college coach? Because we're not wasting time looking at a player that didn't develop as a 17-year-old, 16-year-old coming in. So if you did develop, you should already be going into a first team.
So I think you're looking at it as everybody coming out of the college has to be you're looking at it as and there's not going to be 100 college soccer players going to the pros from there. And I agree with you, but that's where essentially that's how it's supposed to be. Like, a couple guys come into college, play a year, and then they go back and get drafted and do what they got to do because they got that development, they got that experience. Because compare it to basketball for a second. There are some guys who do a one and done year in basketball who couldn't go straight to the league. They needed that year to develop. They needed that year to get some playing experience and then go pro. So I do think for some players, this will be kind of like if they do it properly now, because I know the U.S. Soccer Federation is good for making plans that don't work out the way they do in their head out in real life.
Right.
So I agree I do think that there is a potential for players to find confidence on the ball, development, and make their way into the MLS. I'm not saying anybody's coming out of this system and going to play for Real Madrid. That's out of the question. This is a role player thing.
Hold on. Because your boy,
this is a role player thing is crazy.
Because what happened is, look at your boy that just signed he left the NPSL. He just played for Senegal. I think it was Senegal or Cameroon. And now he's playing for, I think, Red Bull in Germany.
Oh, I know who you're talking about. He played for college at Syracuse, correct?
I'm not sure if it was
Syracuse. He played at Syracuse. He played at Syracuse. I forgot his name, but I was following him. But that's an exception to the rule.
It's not, though, because there are a lot of talented players. The thing about it is that MLS values outside American talent more than they value American talent. So each club is not necessarily looking at their own talent and giving it the same support that they would a young Argentinian, a young Colombian, a young Brazilian, a young English player. Those guys are going to get the look and get even more praise for doing something rather than that kid that's already there or that young college kid coming in. And that's just overall. So it is almost better for that college player to go to Europe, to go to a smaller league somewhere else, and it is to come to the USL or go to the MLS. because the MLS is so limited and it's not that much talent being displayed or played, so why stay?
True. What do you think?
So on that, I think it does work better when you put it that way, going from Europe back home than from going home to Europe. So like if you're a young kid, you go to let's just say Leipzig Academy, and you're kind of flaming out at the under 18s, and you don't really see a path forward. You talk to your agent. Your agent's like, I don't know. We might have to go to, somewhere in India to play. Nah, we're not going to India. Let's go back home. Let's go to let's enroll at Stanford. And now I can get minutes in. I can get quality training in, especially if they switch the schedule so that the season is a lot longer.
Yeah.
There's a lot more quality training sessions that they can get in. And then you take that experience, those 2-3 years, because now you're 21, and now you can go into the MLS draft, or try your hand again at somewhere in Europe at like a Coventry City or something like that.
Yeah.
So I think it works better going from Europe to America than
Right,
vice
and
versa.
that's why you have such a high influx of European players, South American players coming to
Right, because
both
the
the men
Americans
and
are going
women's
away.
Yeah, but
Right.
our players here that do go to college, they get limited respect for staying around. That's the hard part.
Yeah.
And that's why I said
Yeah.
it's better for them to go abroad than it is to stay.
Mhm.
Because your options of USL and MLS are over. You're getting drowned out.
Yeah.
You're getting drowned out by real pros. And unless
Exactly.
and even if you're, let's just say, a homegrown, you're still kind of getting drowned out because you went to college. You didn't stick around that whole entire time.
Mhm. And that used to be the goal, right? Like when we were coming up, like we're going to college to play. Like that was
Right.
the goal. And then you didn't really see the MLS outside of going to college to play. Like if you went to college, then you were like, oh, like I got a chance to play in the MLS. But like that was never the goal, or at least not for a lot of people.
Yeah.
So like that college was the pinnacle.
Mhm.
And now people are, now that all these coaches, they know that they can bring in, like you said, these kids from overseas. Now it's like, well, I don't see no coaches at my games no more. Like, where everybody go? What I
Very
mean?
true. Like,
Yeah.
look at Inter Miami.
Yeah,
Right.
well, that's another exception to the rule. That's Inter Messi's team. Whatever Messi
Inter
wants.
Messi, yeah,
Inter Messi, whatever you want to play with. Go ahead.
Look at Vancouver.
Okay, well, I agree with you on Vancouver. Yeah,
Yeah.
you have a point on Vancouver, but yeah. But I will say though, just to get back to the pyramid, I think the one thing I do like about this the most is the chance that guys have from going to play pro to going right back down to going playing D1 college ball. You have that grace to go back down and figure it out and come back out if it works out for you. I don't like how we decided that we had to go through with the NCAA rules and say, all right, once you start getting paid, you can't come here. Now that the NIL is a thing, all that is out the window. You get paid in college, you can get paid here. It's all the same thing. You can unilaterally move up and down that ladder. And I think that will be a bridge that develops, like I said, not the greatest players, but you might end up getting a good role player that might end up a rotation man on a team that can help somebody out long term if they got that development to go back down. That's just where I'm at.
that the NIL is different for soccer players than it is for everybody else.
Right.
That ain't the same. Yeah.
And that I can explain now, Wendell, I'm glad you said that, because that NIL money is not compared from UCLA to, let's just say, an HBCU
Wake
program.
Forest.
Yeah. So you
Yeah.
can't compare that. And that's there's drastic numbers in that, because you got to look at a team with a full program, like let's just say Florida State. Their football team
Mhm.
can fund every other sport off of NIL.
Yep.
One kid alone can fund that.
Yeah, that's true.
That one kid could probably fund a couple other universities with that same kind of money off of his one NIL. Other schools don't have that option. The only thing that playing here in American college soccer does is it gets you fit and it gets you physically prepared. But technically, depending on who your coach is or depending on where you are, it's not going to be the best. We just watched Washington play NC State in the final.
Great game.
And if you look at that game, how many players will we see go to the MLS next season? That becomes a question.
That's true.
How many players will go to the USL or look at, USL 2 or MLS Next, if that be the next step for some of them? Because that to me then shows success in it. Because right now, most players will be like, I'm getting NIL money here. If I'm at a big university, I'm not in a rush. If I'm getting $5,000 a month, $10,000 a month, what am I in a rush to go to the MLS and make what? Nothing?
Yeah.
USL to go make nothing?
That's the problem facing the WNBA right now.
Right. So it is a bit of the back and forth in that conversation. I just think US soccer in general should just take college soccer off that pyramid because it's not a professional option. You choose to go to college. On the men's side, it is questioned. On the women's side, it is the only way to go. It's the next highest level to the NWSL or the USL Women's League. So on the women's side, it makes sense. On the men's side, it doesn't make sense because coaches are going to devalue you and say you're too old or I expect to hit you after your freshman or your sophomore year of coming in. If not, it's very hard for your player option or your player pool to be in the school for 3 years. They're going to say go somewhere else. And that to me, it just needs a different pathway. If the pyramid is supposed to create a path to the top, I just don't see how college soccer at an older age now is getting to the top.
Well, I mean, and to be fair, this is all just talk at this point, so we'll see what happens. But I like where it could potentially lead, and I think there are some great takeaways from it. And we'll definitely have to get more into it once they go through the process of approving and voting on it. But that's been episode 7 of the World Soccer Daily podcast, brought to you by Our Soccer Collective. Don't forget to follow us everywhere on social media. Don't forget to follow Dupe. Dupe, tell them where they can follow you.
You can follow me at Footballer Dupe or at Player Position World on IG, playerposition.com.world. Sorry, follow me there. And I'm at Hampton University Women's Soccer, coaching Division 1. So you see me everywhere and anywhere.
Go Pirates.
Indeed. Let's go, baby.
All right, we'll see you guys Friday. Until then, take care.
Peace.
Peace.